Hello and welcome to the Matthew Allton Art channel again. New video today. I've been putting some videos on from the new channel that I started, but I've abandoned that, so I transferred them all back to this channel. This is a landscape painting, gouache, as I have done quite a few of. It's in response to the fortnightly art challenge on the Patreon I run. It was a freelance challenge, so we could do what we wanted to, and I thought I would do a landscape as I haven't done one for a while. I've got an exhibition coming up as well, so I thought it would be another painting to take to that. It's a coastal scene this time. I took the photograph last year, I think it was, when I went to Swansea with my partner, and it was the view looking through the dunes from Swansea over to Mumbles in the evening, so early evening. I really struggled with this sky. I think I made it a bit too dark. The clouds are a bit dark. It is evening, but I made it a bit dark. So I then tried to lighten the dark clouds with white. But working with gouache, I don't know if you've ever done it, but it's really difficult to work with, because when you put white wet on the paper, it looks really bright and vibrant, as if you've gone over the top really. But then as it dries, it disappears. The vibrancy of it goes away, and it just doesn't look white anymore. So I found it really difficult to lighten the clouds, to be honest, the distant clouds. But overall I was quite pleased with the clouds, the tops of the clouds. Thought they worked quite well. Here you can see me trying to lighten it up again by putting more white on it. It looks like I've succeeded, and then lo and behold, in a few minutes it dries and they disappear. I don't know if anybody else who uses gouache has had this problem. Let me know if there's any way of fixing it. Because this is sped up, you can actually see it disappearing over time. So I've put quite a white area at the bottom there, and you'll see that it becomes darker over time because the white disappears. So I spent the vast majority of the time on this painting just doing this annoying sky, and I don't think I fixed it particularly well by the end. It's a very small painting, 16 by 16. It's to fit in a ready-made frame that I've got of that size, so that I can take it to the exhibition that I've got coming up in Leamington Spa this weekend. Finally, I'm making a start on something else. I'm putting the distant land in with the three little islands or lumps of rock at the end of Mumbles. Now adding the sea. I do love using brown paper with gouache. I don't know why. It's because I think really that you can see the tones straight away from the off if you've got sort of a mid-tone that you're working on. And it also allows you to make sure that you're mixing the gouache thick enough, because I've told you before on the channel that I use I let the gouache paint dry in my palette, and I just spray it to reactivate it. So when you're doing that, it's sometimes you add a bit too much water and you don't get enough of the paint on. Here you can see I'm yet again trying to lighten that sky at the background because it's gone darker. And again, it looks okay when I've done it, but slowly but surely it darkens again as the white disappears as it dries. It's quite funny actually watching me trying to do it and then watching it disappear. I just think I've won, and then no. I'll have to learn from this experience and try and not just add white. I mean, one of the advantages of gouache is that you can go over darker tones with lights. You can see exactly the same issue happening here as I'm trying to add the waves crashing on the beach. I say crashing, they were very small waves. But you can see that they're there when I add them, and then they disappear. So again, I'm trying to add more white and to lighten the sea now as well. Probably not going to be very successful if we look at the sky. It's one of the very few times in painting where I've actually mixed a paint colour that matches the colour of the paper. I actually mixed a similar colour. And it's because, of course, over time, if you leave paper uncovered with paint, it can bleach and whatever, and it can change entirely. So you don't really need to cover the paper, although I'm covering it with the same colour as the paper itself. At least the paint won't bleach, or it will bleach at the same rate as everything else. So the view here is looking across the bay at Mumbles through some sand dunes. And at this point, I am getting much quicker at this point. I've given up being precise. I spent far too long on the sky and still didn't get the result I wanted. So I'm just being a bit slapdash, but I think, to be fair, that it helps. Using a rigger brush here so I can make nice fine lines. Just trying to indicate patterns on the sand now, to indicate the ripples, the wind ripples that you get on sand, and also footprints, you know, where people have walked on it. So I'm just using different colours of the browny tan or beige, and just trying to indicate those indents in the sand. More disappearing white. I'm finally now putting sort of a palisade sort of fence, or a couple of fences in the sand dunes, which is why I took the photograph in the first place. I liked the way that they were mainly covered up, apart from a little bit of the top showing. And we're almost finished now. I think compositionally I should have put some marron grass on the right hand side as well. I think it's a bit bare on that side. Just trying to strengthen the shadows now. And here's the final painting. Overall it's not too bad. It's not as I envisaged it when I set out, but it's certainly fairly representative of the scene that was in front of me when I took the photograph. And it's another successfully completed fortnightly art challenge. Well, I hope that you've enjoyed watching the video. I hope it inspires you to have a go yourself, especially at gouache. I'm quite a fan of gouache, although I've spent a lot of this video moaning about it. But generally speaking, I've become quite a fan of it. When I started as a teenager doing art, I used to use watercolour and did small landscapes like this. I found watercolour, because of its transparency, quite difficult to use, whereas gouache is easier because you don't have to paint in a particular order, particularly from lights to darks. and leaving those lights, that the areas that you want lightest is the white paper, basically. So it works a bit more like oil paints in that you can layer lights on darks and that sort of thing. But of course, it has the advantage that it's much more portable than oil paints, less smelly because there's no sort of chemicals that you're mixing with it, like white spirit or the like, thinners. Well, I hope that you enjoyed the video. Do give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and do subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. I'm trying to keep videos coming as quickly as I can. I'll probably do a video of the experience of me exhibiting for 3 days over this coming weekend, so keep your eyes peeled for that one. And I'll see you on the next one. Okay, thank you. Bye.